All right, so get ready because today we're going deep on something truly amazing, the Kaya Kalpa experiment. It's this ancient Ayurvedic practice with some pretty bold claims about like transforming the body and mind.
Yeah, and what I find so captivating about Kaya Kalpa is that it's not, just some mystical hocus pocus. It actually involves a really systematic blend of like yogic practices and herbal concoctions and a very specific regimen, all aimed at rejuvenating the body and maybe even possibly leading to spiritual awakening.
Okay, so our source material focuses on Dharma Samrat Karpatri Maharaj's experience with a specific Kaya Kalpa experiment known as the Jyotishmati Kalpa. So what can you tell us about this particular experiment?
Well, it's based on this ancient manuscript that details this specific Jyotishmati Kalpa.
Yeah.
And the manuscript suggests that it could potentially grant some amazing abilities. Things like Trikaladarshi, which means seeing past, present, and future, along with Sarvanya, which means becoming all-knowing, and even attaining a form of Vishnu.
Wow, that's quite a compelling goal. So before we get into the specifics of the experiment, could you kind of paint us a picture of Dharma Samrat Karpatri Maharaj? Like what kind of person undertakes such an endeavor?
He was a highly respected figure, known for his deep knowledge of the Vedas and his unwavering faith in Ayurveda. This experiment really reflects his commitment to these traditions.
He kind of embodies the very essence of what this experiment represents. Now let's talk about the Jyotishmati Kalpa. What sets it apart from other Kaya Kalpa practices?
Well, the key lies in the Jyotishmati herb itself, also known as Malkangani. This rare herb is central to the Jyotishmati Kalpa.
Right, and the source mentions a quest to locate this herb. Tell us more about that.
So Swami Swarupananji, a close associate of Karpatri, was entrusted with finding the Jyotishmati, and he ventured into the Bihar forests, guided by information from Datya Swami, who reportedly used the herb to maintain his sharp intellect well into his later years.
Wow, venturing into the wilderness based on, ancient wisdom, there's a real sense of adventure and faith in that. Did Swami Swarupananji simply harvest the herb, or was there a specific process involved?
Yeah, the source emphasizes that he performed specific rituals to collect the herb respectfully, highlighting the reverence for nature inherent in these practices.
It's fascinating how respect for nature is woven into the entire process. So they find the herb. What's the next step?
Well, the Jyotishmati was taken to Naradghat in Varanasi for a formal consecration. At the same time, a special three-chambered hut was being constructed for Karpatri on the banks of the Ganges at Mirghat.
A three-chambered hut. What was the purpose of this specific design?
Well, while the source doesn't specifically elaborate on the purpose of the chambers, we can kind of speculate. Perhaps they were designed to facilitate different stages of the practice or maybe to regulate energy flow. But this architectural detail definitely highlights the intentionality and structure embedded in this experiment.
Yeah, it definitely adds a layer of intrigue. So we have the consecrated herb and the specially designed hut. What can you tell us about the preparation of the Jyotishmati elixir?
Well, the preparation was incredibly meticulous. The Jyotishmati was combined with cow's milk, ghee, and honey, and cooked over low heat using a method called shirpaka. And then, interestingly, it was stored in an earthen pot buried within a heap of grains for 21 days.
A 21-day waiting period. That's fascinating. What's the significance of this step in Ayurvedic practice?
Well, in Ayurveda, time is like an essential component of healing and transformation. The 21-day period likely allows the potent properties of the herb to fully infuse and mature within the mixture. It could also be seen as a symbolic period of gestation and preparation.
It seems that every step is imbued with meaning and purpose. The source mentions that Karpatri underwent a purification process while the elixir is being prepared. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so he underwent panchakarma, which is a thorough Ayurvedic detoxification process under expert supervision. And the source even suggests that an ordinary person might not have been able to withstand such a rigorous cleanse.
Panchakarma. Now, for those unfamiliar with Ayurvedic practices, can you explain what that entails?
So panchakarma is this multifaceted purification process that's aimed at eliminating toxins and restoring balance in the body. It often involves specialized massages, herbal therapies, dietary adjustments, and cleansing techniques. It's really designed to prepare the body for deeper healing and transformation.
That definitely gives a sense of the intensity and commitment required for this undertaking. So we have the elixir prepared, the hut ready, and Karpatri purified. It sounds like the stage is set for the experiment to begin.
It is. The day arrives, and Karpatri enters the hermitage, ready to embark on this transformative journey.
Okay, so tell us, what does his daily routine in the hermitage look like?
So picture this. A serene three-chambered hut on the banks of the Ganges, a continuous ghee lamp burning, and limited access for only a select few. Karpatriji's days revolve around consuming the Jyotishmati elixir with milk, adhering to a strict diet of sathi rice and honey, and maintaining silence to focus on spiritual studies.
It's an incredibly vivid image. This specific diet, sathi rice and honey, why these particular foods? Do they hold any special significance in Ayurveda?
Absolutely. In Ayurveda, food is medicine. Sathi rice is known for its easily digestible and nourishing qualities, providing sustained energy without taxing the digestive system. And honey is considered a potent rejuvenative and is believed to enhance the absorption and efficacy of herbs. So this diet is really tailored to support the demanding nature of the experiment and promote clarity and focus.
It's incredible how every detail is meticulously chosen to create an environment conducive to transformation. So after all this preparation and discipline, what were the results?
Well, even after just 40 days, the source describes some pretty significant changes in Karpatriji. His eyesight and memory were said to have improved dramatically, and he reportedly looked 25 years younger.
25 years. Wow, that's a bold claim.
Mm-hmm.
What does this suggest about the Ayurvedic perspective on aging and longevity?
Well, Ayurveda views aging as a natural process, but believes that we have the potential to slow it down and even reverse some of its effects. The emphasis is on maintaining balance in the body and mind, nourishing the tissues, and eliminating toxins, factors that can contribute to a youthful appearance and vitality. So the claim of Karpatriji looking 25 years younger, while extraordinary, reflect this core Ayurvedic principle of rejuvenation.
It's fascinating how these ancient practices offer a different lens through which to view aging, and it's important to note that Karpatriji relied solely on Ayurveda for his health throughout his life. This experiment seems to have been a powerful testament to his faith in its effectiveness.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about his conviction and the power of these ancient practices.
Okay, so the initial goal of the Jyotishmati Kalpa, as described in the manuscript, involved attaining some pretty extraordinary abilities, like Trikaladarshi and Sarvanya. Does the source shed any light on whether Karpatriji experienced these?
Well, interestingly, the source primarily focuses on the physical and mental transformation that Karpatriji underwent. It doesn't really delve into those more extraordinary claims. However, it does reference an ancient text called the Rasaratna Samuchaya, which supposedly provides a more detailed description of the Kaya Kalpa process and its potential outcomes. Perhaps that's a deep dive for another episode.
It sounds like we've just scratched the surface. But before we move on to that, let's kind of pause here and reflect on what we've uncovered about this remarkable experiment. This Jyotishmati Kalpa, as described in our source material, is a window into a world where ancient practices and rigorous discipline intersect with the potential for radical transformation.
It really makes you wonder about the possibilities. Like, what if some of these ancient practices hold keys to unlocking abilities we haven't even considered?
I think that's a perfect point to move on to part 2. Stay tuned as we explore those questions in greater depth. We were just talking about the Rasaratna Samuchaya, so what kind of insights does it offer about the Kaya Kalpa process?
Well, it actually lays out like a very detailed methodology for preparing this Jyotishmati elixir, almost like an ancient recipe, It specifies collecting the herb at a particular time of year and processing it with very specific ingredients, like sesame oil, milk, and honey, and then storing it, get this, in a sealed container buried within a heap of grains.
So what's the reasoning behind these specific ingredients and processes?
Well, in Ayurveda, each substance possesses like unique energetic and medicinal properties. So sesame oil, for instance, is believed to penetrate deeply into the tissues, carrying the potency of those herbs to the cellular level. And milk and honey are considered to be very nourishing and rejuvenative, right? Supporting the body's natural healing processes.
Yeah, it's like each ingredient plays a specific role in this carefully orchestrated symphony of healing. The text also mentions some pretty remarkable outcomes from following this regimen, right?
It does. The Rasaratna Samuchaya suggests that by meticulously adhering to the Kayakalpa process, one could actually achieve extraordinary longevity, potentially even reaching a state where death becomes a choice rather than an inevitability.
Okay, that's a powerful concept, the idea of transcending our perceived limitations on lifespan. But it also mentions some pretty intense side effects, doesn't it?
It does. The text cautions that this is not a practice for the faint of heart. It describes the practitioner undergoing periods of intense upheaval, both physically and mentally, becoming very highly sensitive to light and sound, experiencing vivid dreams and visions, even going through bouts of intense emotional release.
Wow, it sounds like a profound journey, not just for the body, but also for the mind and spirit.
It's almost as if the process is designed to break down old patterns
Yeah.
and create space for a new reality to emerge. And it's essential to remember that all of this unfolds within a framework of deep spiritual practice. It's not simply about physical transformation. It's about aligning the body, mind, and spirit.
It makes me wonder what insights these ancient texts and practices offer, for those of us who might not be ready to embark on a full-blown Kaya Kalpa experiment. Are there any practical takeaways that we can apply to our lives today?
Oh, absolutely. One of the key lessons is this interconnectedness of the body, mind, and spirit. This holistic approach is something we often overlook in our modern world.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in compartmentalizing our health, focusing on, physical symptoms without addressing the emotional and spiritual aspects.
Exactly. The Kaya Kalpa process, even if we don't adopt it literally, reminds us that true well-being requires nurturing all aspects of our being. And it also highlights the power of intention, discipline, and a deep connection with nature.
Yeah, those are timeless principles that we can apply, whether we're exploring ancient healing practices or simply trying to live a more balanced life.
Precisely. And while we might not be seeking to achieve, the extraordinary outcomes described in the text, the underlying principles can really guide us toward a more holistic and fulfilling way of life.
It's fascinating how these ancient practices challenge us to kind of expand our understanding of what's possible. Speaking of pushing boundaries, the text does mention those extraordinary claims, the Trikaladarshi, the Sarvanya. What are your thoughts on those possibilities?
Well, that's where things get particularly intriguing and where a healthy dose of discernment is needed. While modern science may not yet have the tools to fully explain or validate these claims, our understanding of the human potential is continually evolving. What may seem fantastical today could become commonplace tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a reminder to stay open to the possibilities, even those that may seem to stretch the boundaries of what we currently understand.
Absolutely. These ancient traditions encourage us to question our assumptions and remain open to the mysteries that lie hidden within ourselves and the universe. It's a call to approach life with a sense of wonder and exploration.
We've been focusing a lot on the potential benefits of the Kayakalpa experiment, but were there any risks or dangers associated with it?
That's a crucial point, and the sources really emphasize that this is not a practice to be undertaken lightly. Remember, Karpatri underwent extensive preparation and was constantly monitored by experienced Ayurvedic practitioners. The text warned that attempting these practices without proper guidance and preparation could be extremely dangerous, potentially leading to physical and mental imbalances.
Right. It highlights the importance of approaching these ancient practices with respect and caution, recognizing that they're powerful tools that require careful handling.
Precisely. It's not about recklessly chasing after superpowers. It's about approaching these traditions with humility and a deep understanding of their potential impact.
The source focuses primarily on the initial 40 days of Karpatriji's experience. Was this the entire duration of the experiment, or was there more to it?
That's an important detail to consider. The full process outlined in the Rasratan Samujaya actually spans several months, suggesting that the 40-day period described in our source material really represents only the initial phase of a much larger journey.
Okay, so the 40-day period was just a glimpse into a much more extensive process. What happened after those initial 40 days? Did Karpatriji continue the experiment?
Unfortunately, our sources don't really provide any specific details about what transpired beyond those initial 40 days. They focus primarily on the setup, preparation, and early stages of the experiment. So whether Karpatriji continued, and if so, what further transformations he experienced, remains a mystery.
It's like we've been given a tantalizing taste of something extraordinary but left wanting more. Perhaps there are, other accounts or texts out there that shed further light on Karpatriji's journey with the Jyotish.
It's certainly possible. And that's part of the allure of delving into these ancient traditions. There's always more to uncover, more layers to peel back, more mysteries to unravel. It's a reminder that the quest for knowledge and understanding is an ongoing journey, without a final destination.
I like that. Before we move on to part 3, can you help us kind of recap what we've explored so far about this remarkable experiment?
Well, we've learned about Dharma Samrat Karpatri Maharaj, a very devout follower of Vedic traditions and Ayurveda, who embarked on this rigorous 40-day Kaya Kalpa experiment known as the Kalpa. This process involves searching for a rare herb, very elaborate preparation methods, a very strict regimen of diet and spiritual practice, and ultimately some significant physical and mental transformations.
Yeah, and we delved into the Rajaratna Samachaya, which is that ancient text that provides a more detailed description of the Kayakalpa process, its potential benefits and risks, and the profound journey it really entails.
And we've also discussed the broader implications of these practices, highlighting the importance of a holistic approach to well-being, the power of intention and discipline, and the need for caution and respect when engaging with ancient wisdom.
Yeah, it's been a really captivating exploration into this realm where ancient knowledge and human potential kind of converge, prompting us to question the limits of what's possible and to acknowledge the mysteries that still lie hidden, within ourselves and the world around us. It's incredible to think that these practices like Kaya Kalpa have been passed down like for centuries. And they offer a real glimpse into a world where the boundaries of human potential are constantly being explored and redefined.
It really speaks to our enduring curiosity and our relentless pursuit of knowledge. What I find particularly fascinating is that while these ancient traditions may seem, shrouded in mystery, they often contain insights that actually resonate with modern scientific understanding.
Oh, that's interesting. Could you give us an example? How does modern science kind of intersect with the concepts presented in Kaya Kalpa?
We'll take the concept of rejuvenation, for example. Right? That's a central theme in Kaya Kalpa. Modern research in areas like epigenetics and cellular regeneration, it's revealing our body's remarkable capacities for self-renewal. And while we haven't yet achieved the radical age reversal described in those ancient texts, science is demonstrating that the potential for extending lifespan and health span is far greater than we previously thought.
So the idea of turning back the clock, while seemingly fantastical, might not be entirely outside the realm of possibility.
Exactly. And another example is the emphasis on detoxification and purification in Kayakalpa. We now know that environmental toxins and lifestyle factors play a huge role in disease development. So practices like panchakarma, while ancient in origin, actually align with our modern understanding of the importance of eliminating toxins and supporting the body's natural detoxification pathways.
It's as though these ancient practices were intuitively tapping into these principles that science is only now beginning to unravel.
That's what I find so exciting about it. There's a real synergy emerging between ancient wisdom and modern science. Who knows what breakthroughs might arise as we continue to kind of explore these connections?
Yeah, it's like we're standing at the confluence of two great rivers of knowledge, each with its own unique currents and depths, and they're flowing together to create this richer, more comprehensive understanding of human potential.
That's beautifully put. It's a reminder that true progress often comes from honoring both the wisdom of the past and the discoveries of the present. But let's not forget the spiritual dimension, which is so central to Kaya Kalpa.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't just about physical longevity or enhanced abilities. It was about achieving a higher state of consciousness, a deeper connection with the self and the universe.
And while modern science may not have, a clear framework for measuring or quantifying spiritual growth, there's a growing body of research exploring the profound impact of practices like meditation and mindfulness on brain function, emotional regulation, and overall well-being.
So even if we can't fully explain it scientifically, we're starting to understand that these practices have a tangible impact on our minds and bodies.
Absolutely. The Kayakalpa experiment, with its emphasis on silence, introspection, and spiritual study, offers a powerful example of how these practices can be integrated into a transformative journey.
It kind of reinforces the understanding that true well-being encompasses not just the physical and mental, but also the spiritual dimension. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Kaya Kalpa experiment, what key takeaways would you leave our listeners with?
I think the most significant takeaway is that human potential is far vaster and more mysterious than we often realize. Practices like Kaya Kalpa, while perhaps not for everyone, challenge us to expand our understanding of what's possible and to explore the interconnectedness of our bodies, minds, and spirits.
And while we may not all be seeking to become, Trikaladarshi or live for centuries, the principles embodied in Kaya Kalpa, things like the power of intention, the importance of purification, the pursuit of balance, and the integration of the spiritual dimension, offer valuable insights for anyone seeking to live a healthier, more meaningful life.
Well said. And as we continue to delve into these ancient traditions, who knows what other secrets and insights await to be uncovered? The journey of discovery never truly ends.
That's the beauty of it all, There's always more to learn, more to explore, more to experience. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Kaya Kalpa experiment. Until next time, Keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep exploring the boundless potential that lies within you.